Item: SCP-1414. Code name: Passive-Aggressive Radio. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1414 is to be contained in a 3 m by 3 m soundproof room. It is not to be plugged in except during approved testing. Except during approved testing, SCP-1414's volume knob must never be set higher than 6. Description: SCP-1414 is a brand radio with cassette deck and CD player, made out of standard materials. The cassette deck, CD player, and tuner dial are non-functional. Aside from this, forensic examination has revealed no differences from other radios of its make and model, either externally or internally. However, it manifests 4 distinct anomalies when used. These are presumed to be inherently linked. The first anomaly is that SCP-1414 responds to language. After SCP-1414's power supply is interrupted and then restored, the first human to speak a command to SCP-1414 will become an instance of SCP-1414-1. SCP-1414-1 is SCP-1414's owner. SCP-1414 will change stations, or increase or decrease its volume, upon command from SCP-1414-1. SCP-1414 is able to detect commands from SCP-1414-1 in a variety of formats, including physically muffled speech, voice synthesizers, but only if used by SCP-1414-1, sign language, writing, semaphore flags, and having third parties relay the command in Morse code by clapping their hands. These third-party tests have also revealed that SCP-1414 can distinguish between commands genuinely relayed by a third party and commands invented by that third party. It is also able to distinguish mechanically assisted speech from recordings thereof. The second anomaly is that SCP-1414 appears to be able to receive any broadcast signal described by SCP-1414-1, including private telecommunications and television audio, anywhere on the planet, regardless of frequency, location of source, or signal strength. It is also able to receive broadcasts when enclosed within a Faraday cage. If given an ambiguous request, SCP-1414 will play the broadcast originating from the physically closest source, regardless of signal strength. SCP-1414's ability to parse natural language has been assessed as the result of the interaction between its first 2 anomalous properties, and not as an anomaly in its own right. The third anomaly is that, when SCP-1414's volume is set higher than 6, either by physically adjusting the volume control or by having SCP-1414-1 request it, SCP-1414-1 will gradually become deaf to any sound not originating from SCP-1414 itself. After approximately 9 minutes of listening to SCP-1414 at Volume 7, SCP-1414-1 will be deaf to any external sound not louder than SCP-1414 itself. And after approximately 24 uninterrupted minutes of listening to SCP-1414 at Volume 7, SCP-1414-1 will be deaf to any external sound regardless of how loud it is. This induced deafness continues even after SCP-1414 has been unplugged. It has been observed to persist in D-Class personnel for 8 months, and can reasonably be assumed to be permanent. Parameters for SCP-1414's deafness induction at higher volumes have not yet been determined. The nature of SCP-1414's induced deafness does not appear to be physical or neurological in origin. post-mortem examination reveals that all relevant structures are intact. Furthermore, instances of SCP-1414-1 who have been surgically deafened after exposure to SCP-1414 report that they are still able to perceive the content of the broadcasts it plays. The fourth anomaly is that SCP-1414 is capable of unplugging itself from electrical sockets, and will do so with as much as 5 Gs of force. It will do this whenever continuous operation rises its internal temperature to 35 C, and resists being plugged back into its socket until it has cooled, in accordance with standard safety guidelines for electrical appliances. Personnel are advised to not force it.